So welcome to Scrapbook Live. I'm Megan Jax. Today is Wednesday, December 6th, and I have a fun layout from the Creative Memories blog. This is 4 years ago from 2019 when Creative Memories in 2019 in December, they released like a whole 10 or so different theme packs. And one of them was the Playtime theme pack. And this is actually a layout that uses the Playtime theme pack. And I'm really excited to be able to show you how you can use the same layout design with really any of your collections or any of your, any theme, really, because it's great because it uses scraps. It does use some whole sheets of paper, but the details are in the scraps. So that's kind of the fun part. Love using those. I love having those layouts that are available to us when we just have a lot of extra strips left over and you're not sure what to do with those strips. Well, here's one to try. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to my overhead camera and we will go ahead and get started. All right, so here we go. We got my little guy. Cody turned 9 last month, and so I've got some photos here. This particular layout that I'm showing you does have 3 4x4 photos on it. However, I have more than 3 photos from his birthday. So on his birthday, we went and took him to Dave & Buster's. He had lacrosse practice later that night, and then of course we did cake. So I have some pictures just from throughout the day. I have a total of 9 photos that I'm going to be including on here because I'm going to be using Peekaboo Pockets. So I've already got some of my photos loaded into Peekaboo Pockets, the 4x4 Peekaboos. When this particular blog project came out, they didn't have Peekaboos. This is from 2019, but we have 4x4 Peekaboos now. So I have loaded some in here. Here he's talking to Grandma and Grandpa on the phone. We do a kind of a screen time, FaceTime thing for whenever we bought candles. So that's really fun there. So I've got these photos. I'm going to set them to the side, but I do want to show you some of the pictures, the colors from being at Dave & Buster's and playing all sorts of games. You can see here, we have a lot of really fun, bright, colorful colors. And so that's going to work really well with the Party Time collection. And in reality, I have done almost all of his birthday stuff. In fact, almost all my kids' birthday stuff. I've been working through the Party Time collection. So that's why I'm sticking with Party Time rather than diving into the new Birthday Bonanza, because all of their other ones, and I've really stocked up on Party Time because I like it so much. So with these photos in mind and these colors, now we want to start putting together our page. So we can see here we have a background page. I have selected the green, largely because it was one of the colors I had a whole sheet of. I have other brand new packs of the Party Time collection paper to open if I need to. You can actually still get Party Time paper. This is Party Time Brights, though this color here is out of the Party Time blue. What's great about Party Time papers, if you like these colors that I'm working with, this paper set is currently on sale as part of the Last Chance promotion on the Creative Memories website. So you'll want to make sure, if you haven't checked out that sale, you'll want to go ahead and check that out. If you're watching this later on YouTube, that sale is on, I believe, until December 15th. So we have just over a week left of that sale. All right, so I'm going to use the green as my base. They have us using cardstock, but I'm not going to use cardstock as the internal square here. I am actually just going to use this, it's a white base piece of paper with polka dots. For the Party Time collection, the opposite side has the bolder polka dots on it. I am using the smaller polka dot size. And I have already gone through and I've cut some 1/2 inch strips. All of our strips are 1/2 inch that are on this diagonal here. I have cut some 1/2 inch. Now, quick hint here, there is no pink in Party Time, but because I had some pinks and purples in the photos, you can see here we've got some of those bright, like the neon colors in here with the pink. This is a piece out of, I don't know, one of the pink packs. I think it's out of one of the, I can't remember. I can't remember. It's a pink. All my pinks kind of get tossed into a thing. I don't use pink a lot. And so I did pull this pink out. I think it might be out of Vivid Melodies. And so it's in my it's in my Party Time because it is a pink that goes well with the rest of the tones of Party Time. So when I want a little pink in with Party Time, this pink has been worked out really well. So I've got some 1/2 inch strips I've already cut. I'm going to cut a couple more out of this darker navy. And so that's going to work out well. But the first thing I want to do is I'm going to prepare my background piece here. They wanted us just to use a base layout or a base paper here. We're going to take that 10.5 inch aqua or cardstock they use, the square in the middle. I am going to cut out a 10-inch square. I actually might take it down to be 9 inches. So I'm going to cut a 1.5 inch frame out of the middle so I can remove a 9-inch square. And that's just going to allow me to conserve the paper. I've done this before. I'm not going to worry about using those binder clips. You might want to. So I'm just going to go ahead, come down here to 1.5 inches and just cut a 1.5 inch frame all the way around. That is going to remove that center square. And so I'm just cutting from 1.5 all the way over to, I should be cutting to 10.5. I cut the last one a little short. I'm gonna have to come back and cut that. So 1.5 to 10.5. And remove that center square. This part right here is where I cut it a little short. So I'm gonna come back, line it back up, and cut all the way to that 10.5. Okay, so there we go. I've got that 9.5 inch square, 9-inch square. I will definitely save that for something else. So here's my background piece. I'm actually gonna set it to the side for right now. I don't need it at the moment. And as I'm working with these other strips, it's just gonna get in the way. I'm not gonna move it too far though, because we do need to take some considerations when we're putting things together. The other part we want to do is we want to go ahead and cut our square. So they use cardstock. I already told you I'm going to use this tonal piece of paper here. It's white with those small polka dots on it. And we want it to be 10.5 by 10.5. So I'm going to come out here, pull out my arm on my trimmer and cut this to 10.5. Now, save those strips because maybe I want to use some polka dots in my 1/2 inch strips. I don't know yet. All right, so here we have the polka dots. Now, I definitely want to assemble this, and when I assemble it, I want to leave it, I don't want to have it to my background yet because I want to be able to put my strips on here however I want and then come back in and trim off the edges. All right, so that is why I'm not going to stick this piece on the background. But one of the things I want you to note in here that they did, you can see they pulled in that same blue in the overall layout, which almost gives the effect that the stripes are directly on the background. You see how those blues just kind of fade in there to that background. I need to decide if I'm okay with that same look. I go back and forth on whether I necessarily like that. Sometimes I think, well, maybe I won't worry about it. Maybe I won't use quite as much of the green. So if I come in here, put my piece here, so you can kind of see how this is gonna work. Start lining up my 1/2 inch strips. I'm just going to do a bunch of dry fitting. The other thing I want you to note on here, they have some where they switch pieces halfway through the layout or halfway through the stripe. You can see here, they have switched from that blue over to the rainbow and so forth. Not all of them, but some of them do switch. I don't think I'm necessarily going to worry about that particular detail. I think I am mostly just going to focus on having solid pieces all the way through just because it adds additional elements I don't necessarily want to worry about. I want to bring in the darker color. So I need to cut some 1/2 inch strips of the darker color. So I have a nice range of lighter. I've got a little bit of bold pattern there in that green and white stripe. And I am also going to have some of this darker blue, lighter colors with the yellow. And I also, on the opposite side to the yellow, there are the candles. And one of my pieces actually had the candle flames on there, really nice. So I could bring that in. I do know when I use a piece like this, the lighter, because I've got a light background, I want to make sure that I bring in a darker color. It's going to set it off. It's going to allow it to stand out. And maybe I'll bring in that darker color at the top just to give it a nice anchor on that corner. You can see as you're putting your strips on here, I'm cutting these from full 12-inch strips that you could definitely see you don't even need full 12-inch strips. If you have some 8-inch pieces, some 6-inch, some 5-inch, you've got mats, anything that you can chop into that 1/2 inch width, it doesn't even need to be a 1/2 inch. You could vary your width. Have some pieces be a full inch, have some pieces be a 1/2 inch, a 1/4 inch, whatever size you want to work with. So let's see. Oh, I need purple. I have not brought in the purple yet, which is the opposite of the, I want to bring in some purple up here. And the layout wants us to have about 12 of these pieces. So maybe here I'll come in with the green again, the red. And I have not decided on my angle. The angle I've got going so far is probably not the angle I'm going to work with. I will probably go more with a true 45, which is going to look more like this. We need 2 more rows. And yet definitely need to bring in more of the yellow. And I could bring in, I have this really fun stripe. So I'm actually kind of just digging that. And they use 12. In all honesty, as I'm getting down here to the 12th line, depending on your angle, I'm starting to extend the full 12-inch length. So here is where, if you needed to, you could go with that 1/2. Maybe I want to bring in a little of that. I could come up here with some of the pink. So that's where you can start experimenting with your sectional pieces if you don't have the full 12-inch lengths. If you feel like you're pushing too far, meaning you're going too, your pieces aren't long enough, you can start to play around with a little bit like that. But I am pretty content with this. I don't know, maybe I will pull this out. Do I want to pull this piece out and work in a little bit more of the pink and the purple? Yeah, I kind of like that. I've got a lot of green going on the outside. I've got the stripe in there. I don't know that I need to pull in too much more of the green. This piece needs to be flipped around. This is the only piece that is really directional, is this has the presents. It's that red tonal piece that has the presents and the bows and stuff on it. And I just want to make sure that my packages, the bows to my packages, their bows are on the top side rather than on the bottom side, with the top being more the angle here. So I think that's actually going to work out really well. I'm actually kind of surprised I was able to get that put together with that. Well, we'll see. We'll get everything tacked down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hold these pieces in place. Let's see if I can remove it. I can remove my square. Maybe. We'll see. There he's coming out. Now, here's the fun part. I've got to translate this all to a 45. Well, I am saying I want it to be on a 45-degree angle. I don't know that it matters too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull these pieces all down. I'm going to start here at the top. Well, let me do this. I'm going to slide these off to the side. This is the order in which I had them on there. This piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put it on, I'm going to line this up. Let's see. I want to line it up on the grid. So I'm going to put some repositionable adhesive on the back because I want it to be stuck to my grid. It's just going to be by far easier if it's stuck to my 13 by 13 mat. And if I'm going for the 45-degree angle, so that it's going to be on the 45 here, I know that I need to come across connecting my the corners here. So when I put my first piece, and I'm going to go ahead and trim off. I do not need to use this full strip. I'm just tucked up here in the corner. I need to line this piece up so that it crosses the corner. So I'm crossing 10 over here to 10. And that is going to cover up the corner of my paper. And I'll come in and trim off those extras. So next up is going to be the pink. And then the red. And like I said, you'd be able to easily come in here with different size of strips. You don't have to use 1/2-inch strips. You could punch some borders. You could use some border stickers. You could do all sorts of stuff. I probably cut more pieces than I needed to. I probably did not need to, I cut just a bunch of different scraps. I don't think I did not cut a single actual 12-inch piece. You have 12 strips. So especially on these first ones where you're not using a lot of length, if you have extra mats, you might take a peek at your mat patterns. Sometimes the patterns within the mats are different than the patterns we have in our papers. And so you might find a gem in there that you're like, oh, I want to include this. And you don't need a very long section of it. So those first few lines, you could easily cut some scraps out of a mat. So this next piece here is the blue, but is my blue long enough? Yes, my blue from my first piece is long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. I won't cut another piece. I won't use the other one. I'll just throw those 1/2-inch strips back into my party time folder. I've got quite a few scraps in there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get across with the pink. Yep, the pink will also go. That was my next color, was the pink. It will work, my scrap. Let's see here. And red, I'm not going to be able to come across with my red piece. I'm almost, yeah, it's not going to go. I'm getting to be a little too long in the piece. And here I am, before I do these, I am just going to double check that I don't want to alter. Yep, I want it to be how it was before. And that was 13 stripes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13. Yep, that's 13. So we'll leave the green out. Sticking with the original plan. Getting these last pieces into place. On these final pieces, because I am using almost a good portion. This last one, I will have some overhang on this last piece, or this yellow piece. But this next one, I need to remove this one because I made the error that I wanted to warn you guys about, is making sure that your corner is extending beyond. So when you trim, you don't see that under piece. And I did. I didn't get the corner here past the edge of my paper enough. So pull it up. That's what the repo adhesive is great for. And then this final piece here, I'm going to be probably using the full width of this piece. Yeah, I'm right on that edge. Yep, it covers. So that 12 pieces, if you put that on the 45, your final piece will be that full 12-inch length. Or you need to use a full 12-inch going from corner to corner. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my paper up, and I need to trim the back. I am going to pull off, run my hand on my mat, pull off any adhesive, flip this over, and I'm going to rub off that repo adhesive so that it doesn't start sticking in places I don't want it to stick. Grab my trimmer. And slice off those extra, anything that's overhanging. Clean up that edge. I didn't do a very good job. There we go. And we do the same thing on the other side, cleaning up those bits. And that's how easy this piece comes together. It really is quite simple. And then all I need to do is put this on my background. Now, if you really wanted to jazz it up a little bit, you could add yourself an additional frame. I could come in and do a little bit more separation if I felt it needed it. Oh man, I'm really, really tempted to really just pop that bit out. But it's the same as that corner. I don't know if I want that. What else do I have that I could? I do have I have a bunch of the yellow, but I'm not sure. No, I'm going to leave it for now. I'm not going to worry about doing an additional frame around the outside of it. You certainly could. So now what I need to do is, I have my photos, and I'm just going to put my photos on here. Like I said, I have peekaboo pockets. So the photos that I'm putting down are actually going to be the photos that are going to be on the under the peekaboo pockets. So he's blowing out his candles. Here he is playing one of the games at Dave & Buster's. And then at lacrosse practice, his coach made a big deal out of the fact it was his birthday. It was super cute. And he just is kind of embarrassed. His coach is one of those just really loud, boisterous guys. And he certainly knows how to kind of embarrass the kids. It was pretty funny. Cody liked it. He likes that kind of stuff. So we want something along those lines. The photos do overlap. I'm going to leave a little bit of spacing here. But I need to come in, and you can see in the original layout, they have some embellishment details. I've got to figure out what embellishments I have left out of party time. I do have another sticker pack I could open. I'm not sure I have any more of the embellishments. Those have been sold out for a little while, but I have some little stickers. I am planning to do the journaling here. I had thought about using a different background piece. Let me show you what I was contemplating using, but it was kind of busy, but I really like it. I thought about using this as my background piece here, because this is a happy birthday and I love the craft. This has that brown crafty tan color in it, but I realized I wasn't going to be able to write on that. I was going to have to use a journal box instead of being able to write on my the page here. So I went with the polka dots, the faint polka dots. I thought it would just be a little bit more less in your face. And it also allows, I've got a lot going on in the photos, so it allows those photos to stand out a little bit more. But I do need to come across the bottom here. You can see we've got a border detail at the bottom. I pulled out some of the border details or the border elements from Party Time. I have stickers. They say happy birthday. I've got stickers I could use. They do have the laser cut celebration. I really like that. In fact, I probably am more than likely going to use the happy birthday here at the bottom. I'll slide everything up just a little bit more. I really love the bright colors, but I do want to have something behind there. So I think I was debating going with the yellow across the bottom. So I need about a 12, at 10.5. I'm not going to clear across the bottom. 10.5 by about 1. So I'm going to cut a 1-inch piece off of this yellow, and I'll trim it down to 10.5 inches. So this is my 1-inch piece, and I need to cut it to 10.5, or cut off 1.5 inches, I guess. It might be a little too early in my day to start doing complex math, you know, removing that, how do I get to 10.5 from 12? Just pops a little bit of color behind there. I'm glad I pulled in that aqua. I've got that aqua color down here in the birthday banner, so this is fun across the top. So now it's a matter of, I have some space like over here. I can look and see, do I have some embellishments that I want to include? I've got stickers. Cheers, it's kind of, I don't know how much of an appropriate sentiment that seems, cheers seems a little bit crazy with, for a 9-year-old, I guess. I think of cheers as something, you know, when you've got, an adult beverage in your hand, something you say, maybe, you know, cheers to, but I could say this is it says have a carefree, memorable, happy birthday. That would be a good one to have. I do have some other things that I could include. So I just need to figure out all of what I'm going to do. Down here at the bottom, I've got this little bit of area to add some decoration up here. The sticker pack I have is pretty worn through, but I do have some of the enamel pieces that I could come in, especially the stars and these areas. Maybe the cute little cake would be fun to include as well. I think I'm going to go ahead, I'll put down this piece. Oh, before I go too far, I really should probably just put down my square. I will put this piece on at the bottom. If this is a 1-inch piece that I'm putting at the bottom, you can do kind of whatever detail you want down here. They use stickers. I am just using the paper. And then I need to go ahead and put this onto my green background. I'm going to use regular adhesive for this. Just working my way around with the adhesive. I'm going to line up my green piece of paper on my cutting mat. I want to make sure it's lined up here really well, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using these corners to help me line everything up. So I know that I need to come in. I have about a 10.5. So I've got to be about 3/4 of an inch all the way around, should be what my margin is all the way around. I am looking here to see, am I hitting that 45-degree line coming down through? I'm a little twisted. I do have a bit of print. This print of the background can kind of help me. Sometimes you will have a print to your background. You just want to double check that if you are using your background print, that it is straight. Every once in a while, the background is ever so slightly twisted, and you'll see that run down the edge of your sheet, but I can tell my pattern is even all the way around. So if I use my background as to help me line things up, I'll be okay. So here we go. So there, it's all on. I'm going to make sure I use a good amount of pressure and just make sure it's stuck on there. Yeah, it's good. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and put these photos on. I'm not worried about matting my photos. That's going to be just okay if they're not matted. This photo here comes a little bit close to the edge. Let's lift these up just a little bit more, give myself space to put down my happy birthday banner. Okay, so here's the question. Do I want to come up like such, or do I come down? I think I'm going to go up. Looking at it visually, that's where it needs to be, right? It needs to be right there. That yellow just pops off that bottom a little bit. So I'll go ahead and put some adhesive. Making sure as much as I can that I have it even. There we go. Okay, so happy birthday across the bottom. I think what I'm going to do is I will come in with, I'll use my cutting dies. Though I have my metal dies that I use in I have one of those roll through cutting machines. It's an old Cuttlebug. They have other ones, maybe the Big Shot or whatever, but I love the letter dies, the letters and numbers. Those are kind of my favorite things. I use those quite a bit. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to cut out a number 9. It'll be a very large, it'll be probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches tall. I have to see whether or not I have the number sign. Otherwise, I'll just cut some strips of paper, maybe that will make the number sign. And that way I can just come in here with a very large number 9. Maybe I'll put it up here. I'm not sure. I'll figure out where to put it. And then I am going to come in with some of these stars. One of the things that I would like to do, I probably more than likely will come across and do like a couple stars here, maybe a couple stars down here, depending on how that number 9 is, or those dots. So I'll come in with that element in there just to pull some of that bright color over to the other side. I will do my journaling down here. And then the peekaboo pockets, when they are time to go on, let me go ahead and I am just going to tack these into place for now, only because I do want to kind of get an idea of how my peekaboo pockets are going to sit on here. My peekaboo pockets, peekaboo pockets can overlap each other. You just have to think about how they flap open. So you can see here, I've got some overlapping, which is fine. What I wanted to make sure though is I do have a little bit of separation between some of the other pieces. So this peekaboo is going to go here, and it will be the last one that opens. This peekaboo here will go as such. And then this peekaboo, we've got just cute little smiling face there, will go here. So that this one will open free on its own. It will not have any anything that is in its way. So it'll open up free on its own. It's talking to Grandma and Grandpa, blowing out his candles. This next one will open up, and just more of playing the various games that he enjoyed playing while we were at Dave & Buster's. And then when that one is open, you will be able to open this bottom one where there'll be more video things there. So I've got a total of 9 photos on here. I could have altered this a little bit if I needed to and had some more journaling in here. I'm gonna have to squeeze in quite a bit of stuff here. I I'll make it work. I will make it work. I might do a little journal strip that comes across, just like a white strip of paper that comes across this photo here. And I'll just write on its side, saying, hey, Coach Brian had the whole team sing happy birthday or something like that, just to have a little bit if I run out of room over here. I write fairly small, but that was a pretty exciting day. So we will see how that all comes together. But in general, there you can see what that's going to look like. Peekaboo pockets are always kind of hard to show how they all work, but you get the idea, right? How it's coming together. I love the bright colors. I will figure out how to use the little enamels. I am going to see if there's any other stickers, but I know I'm going to cut out a number 9. I'm not sure what color I'm going to cut that 9 in. I might make it in, it's going to probably go over here. So I'll either do it in red or purple, I think. Red or purple will be those two, the colors I go with. I could do it in the dark blue. We'll see. I might cut it. I have some navy cardstock. I have just a whole bin of various cardstocks over there by my cutting machine that I'll be able to choose from. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I do need to come in and do those adjustments, but I really do like how it turns out. I'm normally not one who pulls those pink colors in for Cody's things, but I think it does work well, especially with the pinks that are in the photos. Really just highlights all those bright colors. I mean, if you've ever been to Dave & Buster's, it is pretty intense, the colors that they have there inside their facility. So that is kind of a quick scrapbook live today. That layout comes together really, really quickly. And granted, I did have, a few of the pieces cut ahead of time. I know a lot of you talk about it's really hard to pick out colors of papers. I'm really lucky with the birthday stuff largely because, and that's one of the reasons I continue to use Party Time is because it works really well with my life and works well with what I know our birthday photos are going to look like. Cody, all 9 of his birthdays have been sitting at that table with a cake blowing out candles. And so there's some kind of predictability in that. And so it works really well. And I do see a question here from Vicky asking, why do I do peekaboos instead of a 2-page spread? And this is actually a really great question because I thought about this. I had tons of photos from this particular event. And one of the reasons I am doing a 2-page, or I did the single, is because almost all of the other layouts for his birthday, for Cody's birthday, are singles. And so this is just going to be, what I'm envisioning for his album is it's going to be probably a birthday book. I'm a hot mess when it comes to organizing my my books, largely because I do jump around as I want to show you guys different things. So the challenge here for like his birthday is the other birthdays I've done, I have only had single page layouts because we don't usually have a ton of photos from the birthdays. So I'm just going to have a bunch of single page layouts for his birthdays. So that's why I'm sticking with all the peekaboos to bring in those additional photos to show what we did. I think more of the additional photos that I have are just additional things he did at Dave & Buster's. And so I don't know that having another layout just showing the additional 6 or 7 games he played was enough to really justify a second layout. I think if he'd had a full-on birthday party with more kids and things like that at it, it would have been maybe a second page layout there. So Tamara asked a question about if the peekaboo pockets on the page or on the page cover, they will go on the page protector. I use top loading pages. So when I drop this into my album, they will be adhered on. Once I get my page in there, then I will be able to put those peekaboos on there in the kind of their permanent space. So for something like this, when I'm taking a final picture of it, I'll tell you guys, I'm going to pull out the top photos and put those on because the peekaboos are really kind of hard to show in photos. And I don't exactly have the album. Cody has an album that I drop layouts into, but everything is a little bit of a hot mess in terms of all over the place. So I might just go ahead and put it in there and then put the peekaboos on there as such and just move that entire page later over to a different album. But I use what I call holding albums. So as I get pages done, I will just throw them into an album, and that way we can look through them, we can enjoy the layout. But I mean, we may go from, uh, first day of school from kindergarten, flip the page, and here where it is ninth birthday. So it really just depends. Cody, I'm a little bit more up to date on than say my older kids. The older kids, when you go to the 20-year-old album, I mean, you're jumping decades, right? He's got two of them under his belt. We're jumping all over the place. Cody, we're not even a full decade yet, so it doesn't seem quite so far with those jumps. But we do. I'm not very organized in the album department. I have found though that for me, for what works best for me, is that a lot of my layouts I am separating out by kid. So I have 3 children, and for the most part, there's some stuff that's family. Of course, we get to holidays and vacations, and those are all really family oriented. But my kids do very separate things. There's a big age gap between my 2 boys. My middle child, she does drama, she does all sorts of things like that. So there's been a lot more, very much separation. So it's been easier for me to their separate layouts go into their separate albums rather than having a family album that goes chronologically through a year. I just divide things up by the kids. I have a Christmas album. I have a couple Christmas albums. We have Halloween albums. We have fall fun albums. We have winter snow albums. Really, some of those family things have been more into group. I don't know how to. They seem to like repeat themselves a little bit, like the various holidays that you do together. And so it has been easier sometimes to just categorize those by more of a grander theme that is not necessarily chronological. So, all right, that's too much of a ramble about how I handle my books. I love hearing how people do it. You've got to do what makes sense to you. And you might be able to scrapbook chronologically, as I just can't. It's just it's never been anything I've been able to do very well. All right, so what's going on this week? Well, we're Wednesday, we're halfway through the week. As I mentioned before, Creative Memories is having their December last chance sale. Be sure to check out the website. There's some pretty fantastic discounts on some products. So maybe if there's a particular collection that you've liked, especially if they're older collections, like I mentioned, Party Time is on there at a discount. You can get Polar Lights at a discount. Sparks of Magic is discounted. There's some really great discounts on some stuff. And then tools. Be sure to check out the tools. There's quite a few of the punches that are also discounted as well. This Friday is the December virtual crop. So there'll be 4 layouts. It'll be shared onto the Creative Memories the blog at, I think, 5 p.m. Central, which is 3 p.m. Pacific. And then you'll have all weekend, plus a little bit. They give us a little bit extra time now to work on those and share those into the Creative Memories virtual crop group. And I am not 100% sure that I do not think, and now I could be wrong, I do not think we will see brand new product until the beginning of January. I do not know for sure on that. Creative Memories does like to surprise us every once in a while. But traditionally, the past 2 years, we have not seen brand new product past the December start of the last chance sale, as they want to clear out the warehouse and all that fun stuff. I do want to, I think, highlight that if you are wanting to order Creative Memories product to put under your tree or to give as a gift for the Christmas deadline, if you are in the US, you will want to order before December 12th. I believe they said that is their cutoff for the for products to get them shipped. They are about a week behind with shipping. I don't want to say behind. It's taking them about a week, which is a little bit longer. It's about 4 to 5 business days to get things shipped out. It's been busy. We had Black Friday. We've had some the discount when they launched the new adventure parks. They had a discount in there. So it's just they're definitely busy. They're working as fast as they can to get those products out the door. And Tessa and I have, Power Hour is next week. It is a daytime Power Hour beyond the 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We also are going to be doing our Winter Frolic, which is going to start January 1st. That's an 8-week kind of bash your stash scrapbook class weekly. There's no live component to it. I'll still be doing Scrapbook Live throughout January and February and everything, but the Scrap Challenge is fun. We have a couple days a week. We post some challenges for you guys to do, and it really is a bash or stash. It's a lot of fun. If you want to check it out, you can look at megganandtessa.com and see what all the details are there. All right, I think that is all I have for you guys. I will be back next week on the 13th, December 13th, for another Scrapbook Live. I am not sure on the 20th. Not sure yet on that one. I have to see what the plans are with the kids. And I am almost positive I will not have a Scrapbook Live on the 27th because it's a week between. We all need a little bit of the downtime. And I'll probably be busy printing photos for us, the Winter Frolic. So, all right, everybody, take care. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to finish up this layout, get the picture posted. If you joined late and you missed the beginning, I will have the video posted to my YouTube channel. Facebook will make it available also for you to rewatch if you would like to watch it from the beginning of the live. Otherwise, you can catch it on YouTube a little bit later this afternoon. So everybody take care, stay safe, stay warm, enjoy preparing for the holidays, however you celebrate. And hopefully it's not too crazy out where you are. This is always the time of year where I kind of don't like going out because there's just so many people out and about. And I just sometimes want to stay home where it's dry and cozy. So, all right, take care. I will see you all next week.